Good morning, students. Welcome to Success at CA Exam Series 1, and it's specifically organized by Board of Studies so that you can be successful in your examination. And this is specifically meant for November 24 examination and for the paper 3 Advanced Auditing Assurance and Professional Ethics. Mentor for the session, I am CA Karuna Bhansali.
I am CA Tanya Gupta.
So, not taking much of the time, Tanya madam, what we have brought today for our students, what we are going to cover in the session.
We are to discuss so many things.
Yeah.
We are here to brush up your knowledge. We are here how students should present their answers in the examination. What should
Right.
be their exam strategy, how to solve their answers, how to give
So you
answers.
mean to say when we will be talking about solving of question, we will be covering our suggested answer also, like
Yes.
how students have attempted and what kind of mistakes they have committed and what kind of problems they are facing. That also we are going to
Yes,
solve with
yes,
them.
yes. We
Yes.
are going to
Okay.
discuss common issues
Right.
and how they are required to prepare well for your examination. And then we are here to motivate you for your examination for the
better to
to
best,
right.
right? So, not taking much of the time, let's start with. I think you all are aware that what is covered in CA Final Paper 3 Advanced Auditing Assurance and Professional Ethics, and you all are aware that how much is weightage for the same. So, not taking much of the time, Tanya, can you just brief in 1 or 2 minutes that how many chapters are there and which are covered in which section and what is the weightage for the same, right?
Yeah. A CA final auditing exam is divided into 5 sections.
Okay.
So section 1 covers chapter number 1 to chapter number 11. And the weightage of the section 1 is 45% to 55%.
And that section covers specifically all the engagement and quality control standards. It means total 46 standards. One is SQC, 38 essays, and 7 SAE, SRE, and SRS.
Right.
So all these are covered in section 1, and weightage already madam told you,
Yes,
52 to 62 marks, right? Yeah.
Then in this section, chapter number 8 to chapter number 11, we are only covering basic and overview of this chapter.
So whatever is given in the study material is more than sufficient. So you need not to refer the bare standards in detail. Only the part which is being discussed in the study material is sufficient for your November examination.
Right. Section number 2 is digital auditing and assurance, and it covers 3% to 6% marks, means
4 to 7 marks.
4 to 7 marks.
Right.
And it is also a new chapter, and it is really very important for your examination.
Earlier, there used to be special aspects of automated environment wala chapter. So special consideration in audit while doing audit in automated environment. Now its nomenclature is changed, digital auditing and assurance. In this chapter, we are discussing in detail how to audit digitally and about digital audit. In fact, apart from this, we are also discussing some of the digital features which are generally used.
Right.
Yeah.
While auditing.
Yeah.
Next group is group number 3, section number 3, which covers 5 chapters. That is group audit, special features of audit and banks, or special feature of audit of banks and NBFC, audit of PSU, internal audit, due diligence, investigation, and forensic auditing. And it covered 17% to 24% of the syllabus.
It means almost all the miscellaneous chapters which are important audits like group audit, banks, NBFC, which are generally useful while going for audit, right? So these are practical based auditing chapter where you are going to apply those standards and regulations and norms. Yeah, for
It
this.
is of 20 to 27 marks.
Okay.
Then we have group 4, which is emerging areas, sustainable development goals, and environment, social, and governance assurance.
This is also
and ESG. It is
new
also
chapter. Yeah, and weightage is same for digital auditing and assurance and
right.
ESG, SDG.
3% to 6%.
And in this also we are discussing about 9 principles. Then we are having 17 SDG goals. Okay, which of them are applicable? So all those are very, very important. And what is the auditor's role when they are going for this ESG audit?
Right.
That part is covered in this chapter.
Right. And the last section is very important. It is a professional ethics and liabilities of auditors. it covers 17% to 24%. That is 20 to 27 marks is the weightage of professional
So,
ethics.
various times we have also told that if you complete engagement and quality control standard and professional ethics part, it means your 70 marks paper, minimum 70 marks paper is covered in these chapters, right? So very important and very interesting, rather, professional ethics and liabilities of auditor. So it's very, very interesting and very important also.
Right.
So I think this was your syllabus. Okay. And for November 24 examination, whatever was applicable for May 24 examination is only covered. Okay. So no other additional amendments which you need to cover. Okay. So this is to clarify. And then now what we are going to cover, we are taking your suggested answers. Yani ki May 24 examination paper and what kind of mistakes were being committed by the students and how they can improvise. And in case if student find any difficulty that yes, why this is not forming part of the answer and this should also be covered. So that part also we can discuss. Apart from this, when we will be discussing the question, we will be telling you how to draft the opinions as well, because our main emphasis will be on audit report chapter also. Yeah. So better, I think we should. Yeah. So your first question was, PQR Associate are the statutory auditors of a large unlisted company. Now you please note that they are statutory auditor, okay? And statutory auditor of unlisted company, okay? Which is engaged in manufacturing of auto components. Subsequent to reappointment of auditors in AGM, the company shared the appointment letter with PQR Associate. Note down, reappointment of auditor in AGM and company shared the appointment letter with PQR Associates seeking acknowledgement and acceptance letter. So they have given the appointment letter to PQR Associates and they are seeking acknowledgement and acceptance. CAR is the engagement partner and is planning to issue the acceptance letter. So CAR is planning to issue the acceptance letter. During the current financial year, there was a search by the Income Tax Authority on the company and certain accounting records were seized for by the Income Tax Authority of the company and certain accounting records were seized for verification. So after income tax raid, income tax officer seized some accounting records and based on the information available on social media, CAR noted that the promoter's brother is contemplating to contest in the ensuing election under the banner of a political party. One of the current senior engagement team manager who has doing the audit engagement till last year has left PQR Associate. Who? Current senior engagement team manager. He's current senior engagement team manager. And what he is doing, he has left PQR Associate and is planning to provide some accounting services to one of the associate companies. And his PQR Associate are yet to recruit another senior manager having advocate experience in audit of having advocate experience in the audit of client engaged in the automotive sector. Now, you need to elaborate the matters to be considered by PQR Associates with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationship considering the above issues, right? So, in this question, you were required to discuss SQC1 as well as SA220, okay? And trust me, in this question, the performance level of the student was not up to mark because what you have done, you have discussed the issues, but you are failed to elaborate and correlate the matters which needs consideration for acceptance and continuance of client relationship. While most of the candidates, most of the students, you have written the relevant requirement, but then you are not able to quote the relevant standard. So it means somewhere we are lacking in-depth study. Okay. So if we discuss this question, yeah, students, you want to discuss in detail this question, or like if we talk about this question, I want you to tell me what are the factors which an auditor should consider before accepting this assignment. So what should be the consideration? Can any one of you write in the chat box? I am waiting for your response. Suggested are already being uploaded and you are going to appear for November 24 examination. And this is very important because it was the first paper, May 24 examination, and you all must have seen it and so try to solve it. So can you tell me? Check out. Yeah. Consideration when we are going to PQR elaborate the matters to be considered by PQR associate with respect to acceptance and continuance of client relationship. Lot many issues are there. If you see, let's start. Chalo, last para se we can start. In this para, you can see that senior engagement partner.
One student wrote integrity of client.
Right. Very right. Integrity of client is very right. Good, Shalish. So you can see in this para, you can see that current senior engagement team manager who has been doing the audit engagement till last year has left PQR Associate and is planning to provide some accounting services. One of the associate company, whether it is allowed. So we need to check that factor. Another factor is R noted that promoter's brother is contemplating to contest the ensuing election under the banner of political party. So whether this fact also need to be taken care. Then third thing, search by income tax authority. Whether that indicate that we need to take care of certain criteria. So you have rightly mentioned integrity of client. And can you tell me which standard will be applicable for this particular question? Two of the standards are applicable for this particular question. Which two standards are applicable for this particular question? I'm waiting for your answer. Whoever is on Zoom also and whoever is watching online, can you write which of the standard will be applicable in this question? So in this question, we will refer SQC1 and SA 220, right? So I'm directly taking you to the solution. So in this question, we need to give the provision of SQC1 and SA 220, right, Salesh? You are very attentive and Aishwarya also written correctly that yes, SA 220 and SQC1, right? Now, what is the name of SQC1? SQC1 is quality control for firms that perform audit and review of historical financial information and other insurance and related services engagement, right? I hope you all are able to remember this name SQC1. SQC standard for quality control. So as this name denotes quality control for whom? For the firms, not for the companies where we are going for audit. Quality control for the firms who are going to perform audit means all the four engagements. Audit, assurance, review and related services. All will be covered in this SQC. So, quality control for firms that perform audits and review of historical financial information, because audit and review both are done for historical financial information. So, that is the reason here it is mentioned that firm that perform audits and review of historical financial information and thereafter remaining services means and other assurance and related service engagement. This is the standards name. So what is given in that standard? That a firm before accepting an engagement should acquire vital information. They need to acquire the information about the client. Yeah. So what are the information? As Salesh rightly mentioned and Raj is also telling, yeah, integrity of the client, promoter and key managerial personnel. So in that situation also integrity is violated, right? Competence also we need to check whether they are capable, time and resources are enough to perform that engagement, and compliance with ethical requirements. Ethical requirements are also very important. This part is given in SQC 1. And in addition, we are referring SA 220 that the firm should obtain such information as it considers necessary in the circumstances before accepting an engagement with a new client, when deciding whether to continue an existing engagement, and when considering acceptance. Issues have been identified and firm decide to accept or continue. Means first you need to identify the issues also, and then you need to decide that whether we can accept and continue or not. Okay. And we need to document that whatever issues we have identified, how those issues were resolved. SA 220, what SA 220 is guiding? That engagement partner shall form a conclusion on compliance with independence requirement that apply to the audit engagement. So, engagement partner shall form a conclusion whether independence requirement is fulfilled. So, in that case, senior engagement partner who was part of team want to serve other associate, whether independence requirement will be fulfilled. So that also need to be checked. In doing so, the engagement partner shall obtain relevant information from the firm and where applicable network firm. So that associate is network firm basically. So auditor is required to identify and evaluate the circumstances and relationship which create threat to independence. Now what was given in SQC 1? 3 points were given: integrity, competence and compliance with ethical requirements. Okay. And if the issues are identified, how those issues were resolved, documentation should also be for that. And as per SA 220, what is the important requirement? It is conclusion on the compliance with independence requirement. Okay. So these were important terms in this question. Now, when we correlate the same, when we correlate the situation with the same, we need to check. Now, what is given? Evaluating the integrity of the client. Okay. Now, what is the issue in this situation? Engagement team should assess whether the company is involved in any funding activity to the political party. And if it is so, inquire and assess the risk related to such transaction. So it means Tanya madam or Karuna madam, if we both are going to analyze that whether we can accept the audit of that company, we will check that yes, if the company or if the associate is involved in any funding activity to whom? Political party. And if it is so, then we need to check how much risk is associated. According to that, we will decide whether we will continue or we will not, right? Then second point is we need to communicate clearly with the client regarding the scope of the engagement. What is it? Scope of the engagement, responsibility of both party, and if there is any limitation on the service to be provided, right? So if scope is clear, what kind of responsibility one is having, if it is clear, then definitely expectation and alignment between the firm and client will match, right? Next is independence and objectivity. Now, that political part we have already seen, okay, but one more thing was there, that senior manager who was on this engagement is providing certain accounting services to one of the group company. So whether it is ethically correct or independence requirement is violated or complied with. that part also need to be taken care. Like we are having one firm, okay? So Tanya madam, me and one more partner is there. If one of the partner leave and they join they do provide accounting services to one of the group company, so engagement partner need to assess that is there any impact on relevant ethical or independence requirement. Then continuously monitor the client relationship, like there was an income tax raid. You can see income tax raid was given. Now, as an auditor, if I'm going to accept that assignment, I need to evaluate that when income tax raid is there, so whether how much risk of material misstatement is there, non-disclosure of tax dispute or any other liability. So we need to check because it's indicating, yes, there might be some risk of material misstatement. Then last but not least, here in this para, senior engagement team member has left PQR associate engagement partner, and we need to assess that whether he would be in position to devote educate time on the engagement or whether to recruit another resource. Because once a senior member left, how the position is being replaced, right? So that part also need to be taken care. Now, Salesh is asking what is exactly expected, how to write and how to present. Now, I have discussed this question. Reason for discussion in detail was to cover almost all the possibilities, all the permutation and combination, right? Now, I'm going back to the question and you can see that this question is for 5 marks, right? And for 5 marks, you are given with the practical situation that your firm is statutory auditor of large unlisted company, okay, engaged in manufacturing and auto component. Now, subsequent to your reappointment is done in AGM, okay, company is sharing appointment letter and you need to give acceptance letter. So, will you accept and continue the client relationship or how you will pursue? And some kind of situations are being given. You rightly identified, Salish, that SQC1 and SA220 is applicable in this situation, right? And you have mentioned also integrity of client also you mentioned. So in this situation also, you need to identify which of the main important points will be applicable in the given situation. Like if we talk of SQC1, we have already checked that integrity, competence, and then ethical requirements, right? Compliance with ethics. These 3 points are very important. Then second point is independence part, which is again given in SQC, SA220 also. So that part you need to give the reference that which are the applicability means standard and relevant point. And then as an auditor, as we generally say that if the question is scenario based, you need to give the fact of the case, you need to give the provision and explanation, you need to interlink the same and give the conclusion. So in this situation, I'm not saying you need to write so much in detail, word by word. Okay, you can write in your own words, in own language. But when after you have written integrity, competence and compliance of ethical requirement and independence wala part, that part you have given the reference of SQC1 and SA220. Thereafter, it is very important that you correlate with the situation because lot many issues are being discussed in the situation that regarding this income tax wala part, income tax authority. Okay, then you are having this on social media that promoter brother is contemplating to contest in ensuing election political party. So for political party also we need to see funding wala part, that whether funding is being done or not. If funding is done, then risk of material misstatement, lot many issue. Income tax raid, it means that there is some indication of non-compliance, so we need to check in detail, right? And this accounting service wala part, who left and accounting service to one of the associate company. Then when we are accepting the engagement, then also we need to check that we are having full of resources. So if senior engagement team manager is leaving, then whether the replacement is being done or not, That is also not done, hai na? It's given yet to recruit another senior manager having adequate experience in automotive sector. So we need to check whether these situations are complied with. So you need to interlink those points and conclude. Okay. So these 3 or 4 situations you need to interlink and conclude. Means it should not be in the situation there are given 3, 4 pointers and you are not writing any of the point. You are just simply writing SQC1, SA220, integrity, competence, compliance with ethical requirement and independence. That's all. It will not suffice. You are at CA final level. So you need to interlink the same. Right? Is it clear to all of you? Or any other query for this specific question? Because now I am going to move to next question. And with that, we have specifically planned today's session that we'll be covering that with some planning. So are you able to understand what is the requirement and how you need to write for getting good marks? So if we elaborate on the marks, it is for 5 marks, right? So you can take 1 mark for SQC1 wala part, 1 mark for SC220 wala part, it may be 2 marks. But then for remaining part, for interlinking and writing the conclusion part, it may so happen that for income tax or for senior engagement partner, that political party. So these kind of interlinking for that conclusion, it may so happen that it is allocated 2 marks or 3 marks. So for this 5 marks, this may be the allocation. Or maybe for SQC1, it is 2 marks, SA220, it is 1 mark, 3 marks and 2 marks for interrelating and giving the conclusion. Okay, yeah.
Ma'am, it is seen that students write answers, but they fail to conclude the answer. Does it make impact on their
Yes,
answer?
because for each and every step, specific marks are being allocated. Okay. So if you missed, like if you miss the fact of the case, if you're not able to identify what kind of situations are indicating some doubtful criterias or where we need to emphasize on that. So that part is required. Secondly, you have identified all the fact of the cases. Then second thing is you are aware of provision and explanation. You need to give provision. You need to quote, yes, this is discussed in SQC1 and SA 220. And trust me, you should be by heart, you should be learned with the name of the standards. It should not be like you are avoiding name of the standards. That is the reason I briefed that how you can learn SQC1's name also. Okay. So thereafter, you need to interlink both. Generally, in each of the session on how to prepare also, we generally tell this, that they need to give fact of the case, provision and explanation, and definitely interlinkage. So you need to interlink the same. Okay. So when you are concluding, you need to interlink with the provisions which you have discussed as per SQC1 or SA220 or in any of the question. So for that conclusion part, specifically marks are being allocated, whether how you are able to understand the requirement and how you are able to answer the same. Okay. So for this 1A, this was the part. And now we are moving towards 1B. Yeah. Fancy Limited is a foreign company. And for this particular question, Tanya, if you remember, we have received lot many queries from the students, lot many observation that this question is out of syllabus. And you will you will not believe that this is simply taken out from our study material. This is covered as an example in our study material. Okay. So this is part of our reporting chapter, chapter 7. And if you have solved the examples which are given in chapter 7, reporting, please see that generally in the examinations, some of the examples are specifically taken and asked in the examination. And if you have solved those questions, you'll be able to write the opinion para. And opinion para is very, very easy. So you can get simply 5 marks. Right? So today we will discuss how to draft the opinion. Okay. So we are starting this question. Fancy Limited is a foreign company providing software support services, having its branch office at Delhi. During the year 23-24, I just want to ask students whether you are clear with this question now, or you want me to take up these opinion wale questions. So Fancy Limited is a foreign company providing software support services, having its branch office at Delhi. During the year 23, a subsidiary Nancy Private Limited in Gurgaon. Now you see, it's specifically given that Fancy Limited is a foreign company. Okay. Would you like to read this question?
Yes. During the year 23-24, Fancy Limited incorporated a subsidiary, Nancy Private Limited in Gurgaon. For furtherance of objectives, Fancy Limited entered into a business transfer agreement dated 5th October 2023 with Nancy Private Limited for transfer. Means on 5th October, Fancy Limited, which is a foreign company, it entered into a business transfer agreement with Nancy Private Limited for transfer of all the assets and liabilities along with the business of Delhi branch to Nancy Private Limited on a going concern basis effective from 1st April 2023. So in this case, which is a Fancy Limited, which is a foreign company, it entered into a business transfer agreement. Even it is going to transfer all assets and liabilities of Delhi branch also. So for necessary approval from regulatory authorities is also received on 20th December 2023 for such transfer. Yeah. Fancy Limited promised that it shall provide continuing financial and operational support to Delhi branch and further confirmed that any losses incurred post the date of transfer shall be borne by Fancy Limited. That is, the foreign company is liable for all the things. So, during the year 23-24, Delhi branch of Fancy Limited has prepared its financial statements on the basis that the branch office doesn't continue to be a going concern.
Now, what was discussed earlier? That whatever losses and everything will be borne by
Fancy Limited.
So in this, it is a foreign company and Nancy is branch office, right? And they have done business transfer arrangement, right? And what Nancy Limited, they have business transfer agreement on 5th October with Nancy Private Limited that for transfer of all assets and liabilities along with the business. So, okay, and it is on going concern basis, as ma'am already told you, necessary approval are also being received from the regulatory authority. Okay, and what they are saying is that they will provide financial and operational support to Delhi branch. And further, they also confirm that if there will be any loss post the date of transfer, that also will be borne by Fancy company. Fancy company is which one? Foreign company, right? But what is happening now later on in the year 23-24, they have prepared their financial statement on the basis of that they are not going to continue as a going concern. So in the beginning, situation is different, and here it is, the financial statements are prepared like they are not going to continue as a going concern, and even in their balance sheet or in their books of accounts, how they are going to show their assets on assets are carried in the books of account at the values likely to be covered, means realizable value, right? At the time of closure of operation to the extent ascertainable at the time of preparation of the financial statements.
Delhi branch has incorporated above matter in detailed note form in note number XX to the financial statements. So, you are statutory auditor of Delhi branch of Fancy Limited for the financial year 23-24. According to you, Delhi branch has correctly disclosed about the matter in note number 20 to the financial statements regarding management's intention to close the operations of the branch office. So in financial statements, management is showing that yes, they are going to close the operations of the branch office, and they have correctly mentioned that in the financial statement.
Okay, now what is asked in this question? What students are required to do.
They are required to draft an opinion paragraph.
Yes, you need to identify first thing. First step, you need to identify which opinion will be expressed. Second, you need to draft the opinion para. And when you are drafting opinion para, you need to give basis thereof. Means if you are giving qualified opinion, if you are going adverse opinion or disclaimer of opinion or emphasis of matter paragraph, definitely you need to give basis for the same. Why? Because that you have this opinion, okay, along with disclosure of note with suitable place in audit report in terms of relevant auditing standard. Now, can you tell me which standards will be applicable for this? For this particular question, I hope I am able to elaborate on this question, and Tanya madam also discussed in detail. So whether you can tell me which standard is specifically attracted. If we talk of relevant auditing standard, Salesh, you are near about, but not exactly. Here, this question is specifically on audit report. So if we are talking about reporting, okay? And in reporting, we need to draft opinion. So specifically in this section, we are going to discuss what kind of opinion is being expressed and when. Yes, Raj, I will take your question also, which you are discussing. Yes, you are right. 570, 705, 700. थोड़ा नजदीक हो, but not fully. Cyril, you are nearby, but not exactly. 570 because you have seen that, yes, going concern violation is there, right? Okay. So what if when going concern matter is discussed, then we have two parts. One is that whether it is adequately disclosed in the financial statement. Second is it is not covered. Here in this situation, you are statutory auditor of Delhi branch of Fancy Limited, and Delhi branch has correctly disclosed about this. Okay, so everything is correctly disclosed. So how you are going to, which opinion you are going to? So first you just tell me how many types of opinions are there. If we talk of reporting, yes, SA 700, rightly you have all have mentioned SA 700. Ashit, Aishwarya, Udit, I am expecting answers from your side also. Here, yeah, you are all are on right track that 700 is applicable. Okay, but for 705, we need to just discuss further. So 700 series is purely applicable, and in SA 700 series we are having 700, 705, 705, 701, 705, 706, 10 and 720. Okay. So these many standards are there. 700 give you brief overview about the content of audit report and how many types of reports are there. No. 600 will definitely not come into this. So now, if we talk of 705, that is modified opinion. And in that standard, particularly, how many types of opinion we discuss generally, Tanya madam?
We have two types of opinion, modified and
Unmodified. And 705 talks about unmodified.
opinion.
And how many types of unmodified opinion are there? Qualified, adverse,
and
disclaimer of opinion. So SA 705 specifically emphasize on qualified, adverse and disclaimer of opinion. Okay. And SA 706 that talks about emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. Emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. Now, in this question, which of the opinion will be expressed? Can any of the student tell me whether it will be qualified, adverse, disclaimer of opinion, or emphasis of matter paragraph? Can you tell me? Or still you are finding difficulty in this question? Now, what is qualified opinion? What is adverse opinion? What is disclaimer of opinion? And when we give emphasis of matter paragraph and when we give other matter paragraph? That is very important. Okay. So before solving this, I think let's just have a glance of types of opinions and types of paragraphs. So if we talk about Types of opinion we are having unmodified and modified.
Modified.
Ma'am already told you. Yeah, you are right, Raj. So in unmodified means everything is okay.
Okay, right.
Fine, clear. Okay. And if we talk of modified, we
There
are having
three
three types of opinion: qualified, adverse, and disclaimer. Now, moving towards next slide, two important terms are there, right? One is
Pervasive
and second is
misstatement.
material misstatement,
Material
right?
misstatement, right.
So if there is material misstatement is there, if material misstatement is there, and that is pervasive. Pervasive means impacting overall. Okay. Impacting overall means if there is material misstatement in inventory part. Okay. In inventory, material misstatement is there. It's impacting only inventory. It's not impacting our PPE, receivables, and other items. So then it is not pervasive. Pervasive means it's impacting overall, yeah, almost major part. Okay. So if we analyze the pervasiveness, then we need to check how much impact is there. If it is limited to only one part or two parts only, then it is not said to be pervasive. And for material,
then so material misstatement. Material misstatement is in misstatements that what what we are expected to disclose in the financial statement and what actually the company has disclosed in the financial statement. It is a misstatement. So a difference it can be of amount, it can be of classification, presentation, disclosure, what they are required to do and what they have actually done. It is a misstatement. The difference between the two is a misstatement. And it can be because of error or fraud, or it can be intentional and unintentional misstatement, right?
So we need to check misstatement is material or pervasive. Now, what is material? I think you all are aware.
Right.
Right. So when we are giving opinion, unmodified or modified, for modified opinion,
Yes.
how auditor will conclude?
There are two cases then when auditor is able to obtain sufficient and audit evidences, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. And there is a second case when auditor is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence.
Because auditor is required to
Okay.
express their
Yes.
opinion on the basis of sufficient and appropriate audit evidence.
Yes.
If you are having sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, or if you are not able to get, if you are not having sufficient and unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. If you have, if you are able to, then what you will be checking?
When he is able to obtain sufficient audit evidence and he can conclude that yes, the financial statements as a whole are not free from material misstatement.
It means material misstatement is there,
but not pervasive.
Okay. If it is there, then we need to check pervasiveness.
Right.
If the on the basis of sufficient appropriate audit evidence which we have obtained, we will check whether it is material or not. If it is material, then we will check whether it is pervasive or not. If the material misstatement is pervasive, then we will express adverse opinion. Okay. If the sufficient appropriate audit evidence we have obtained and material misstatement is also there, but it is not pervasive, then we will express that yes, it is okay, but except for, it means qualification. We are giving qualification for the same. But what will happen if we are not able to get the sufficient appropriate audit evidence? Can we express opinion?
Yes, we have to, but we will disclaim the
We
opinion.
will not be able to because we are not having those audit evidence. So we cannot tell that this is correct or not. Then we will give disclaimer of opinion, that we are disclaiming an opinion that we are not able to get the these things.
Audit evidences.
And one more thing, when we are expressing the opinion, we need, an auditor is required to give these 2 points, that financial statements are prepared in all material respect, and second is in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Now, what is covered in financial reporting framework? It means compliance with all the relevant standards, है ना? Accounting standards, whatever is financial reporting framework, that is being covered. So you need to check whether, because the opinion will be expressed on the basis of sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So you need to check whether you are able to get the sufficient appropriate audit evidence, or if it is not, then you will be giving disclaimer of opinion. And if you are able to get, then you will be checking material and pervasive.
pervasiveness. We have discussed
pervasiveness, we have discussed material and misstatement. Okay. So when we are talking about adverse opinion, this also we have told you that auditor shall express an adverse opinion when the auditor, having obtained sufficient
and
appropriate audit evidence, conclude that misstatement individually or in aggregate are both material and pervasive to the financial statements, right? And what is disclaimer of opinion? That
Yes.
they are unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence.
evidence.
So possible effect of that cannot be detected. It is undetected. It can be both material and pervasive. It can be only material or it can be only
pervasive.
right.
Yeah.
मतलब material and
Material भी
pervasive.
हो सकता है.
Okay. So
Right.
on the basis of that only they can express the opinion. So therefore they are not able to provide, they are not able to express their opinion, and they are giving disclaimer of an opinion that हम लोग like fire occurred or income tax raid is occurred and the documents are with income tax department. In the fire, the documents are destroyed. When you are not able to get the sufficient appropriate audit evidence, then what you will do? You will give disclaimer. Okay, you cannot express your opinion on the basis of incomplete audit evidence. You need to have sufficient and appropriate. Okay, it should not be like we want audit evidence relating to A and we are getting for B. It should be appropriate and it should not are there. You need to have sufficient and appropriate audit evidence for expressing the opinion. So this is prepared by Tanya madam for you in the table format that you can check. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have obtained, auditor has obtained audit evidences and he can conclude that there are no material misstatement there is, and not pervasive. So we will issue unmodified opinion, and in modified view, when auditor is able to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidences and he can conclude that
Material misstatement
is exist and it is not pervasive, then we will issue qualified opinion. And when auditor is able to obtain audit evidence and he concludes that material misstatements are there and pervasiveness is there, so he will issue adverse opinion. And in case auditor is unable to obtain appropriate and sufficient audit evidences and he can conclude that yes, material misstatement is there and pervasive material misstatement is there, then we will disclaim his opinion.
So before we proceed for emphasis of matter and other matter and CAM and drafting of opinion, I just want to take Raj's query. Raj is writing, there was a question in MTP which was similar to opinion where auditor finds loan agreement missing. Now I think Raj, you can also tell me that which of the opinion will be expressed if you are not able to find the loan agreement. You are not able to find the loan agreement. Okay. And we are having that mock test paper na in this.
He's talking about MTP 20 May. He's talking about May.
May 24 MTP. Okay. So, okay. Then May 24 MTP. Just a second. Yeah. I think he's talking about this question. That CA is the statutory auditor in respect of loan and advances which are given to a private limited and company has not furnished any agreement to CA, and in the absence of the same, he is unable to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability of interest and other terms, right? Can you tell Raj that we are on right question? Because right now I'm not having May 24 MTP series with me. So if you can elaborate or if you can write about that. So in this question, actually, when the loan agreement was not available and he was not able to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability and other interest and other terms, in that case, he need to check because he is not able to obtain that sufficient, In absence of such document, it may be material misstatement in the financial statement of the company, because he is not able to obtain such audit evidence, is like they are material but not pervasive. So they can give a disclaimer of opinion, right? Or they can simply give qualified opinion that they have not verified. So it depends. Right now, I'm not having that question. If you are having in front of yourself, then you can write the detailed question. So I can guide you on the same. Okay. No, Krishna Kumar. It is not like that. Ki before disclaiming of opinion, we should consider withdrawal. No, it is not like that. Ki we should consider withdrawal. Are you able to see the screen? Tanya madam has searched May 24 exam question paper also. Down actually. Hmm. Or he can write, na? He will write. Let's continue with this. Right, Raj, you can continue, or if you are able to, question 4, see, he is writing. This is the 4th question. Hmm. So CA Navya is the statutory auditor of Lakshya Limited for the financial year in respect of loans and advances of 75 lakh given to Hariharan. The company has not furnished any agreement to CA Navya. And in the absence of the same, he is unable to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability of interest and other terms. Now, type of opinion which CA Navya should give in such a situation. And you need to draft an opinion paragraph and basis for opinion paragraph, right? So now you tell me which kind of opinion will be expressed in this. Raj, you can tell me what kind of opinion will be expressed? Yeah, we are able to search that question and we are on that. And even we will be drafting the opinion also. Me, yes, you are right. You are right, Cyril, that in this we will issue qualified opinion, right? Because loan, you're right that we will be giving qualified opinion because it is not pervasive. It will impact only loan part. It is not going to impact all the whole financial statements. We can show the answer also. Fourth scene. So we can see that in the present case, with respect to loans and advances, the company has not furnished any agreement. In the absence of such an agreement, CA Navya is unable to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability of interest and other terms. For an auditor, it is very important, right, to verify. Therefore, the absence of such a document in the present case tantamount to a material misstatement in the financial statements of the company. So, inability of CA Navya to obtain such audit evidence is though material, but not pervasive, right? So he need to give qualified opinion, and the para which is given for qualified opinion is, in our opinion and to the best of our information and according to the explanation given to us, except for the effect of the matter described in the basis of qualified opinion section of our report, the financial statements of Lakshya Limited give a true and fair view in conformity with the accounting principles generally accepted in India of the state of affairs of the company and P&L, because we express the opinion on financial statement, that is our balance sheet and profit and loss account for the year ended on that date. And basis for qualified opinion will write that company is unable to furnish the loan agreement with respect to loans and advances of 75 lakhs given to Hariharan Private Limited. Consequently, in the absence of such an agreement, we are unable to verify the terms of repayment, chargeability of interest and other terms. Okay. So now we are moving towards EOM, emphasis of meta paragraph and key audit matter paragraph, right? So if we talk of emphasis of meta paragraph, it means a paragraph included in the auditor's report that refers to the appropriately presented or disclosed in the financial statement, and that in the auditor's judgment if is of such importance that it is fundamental to users' understanding of the financial statements. It means it is very important that whoever is going to use the financial statement, for them it is fundamental to their understanding. So that part should be covered, and in that case also for the fundamental users it was very important that they should be aware that financial statements are prepared on realizable value basis. In that question which is being asked in May 24 examination, 1B question, the requirement was for emphasis of meta paragraph because the financial statements were prepared on the basis of that company is not following going concern, and the financial statements, the assets were showing on the realizable value. Okay, so that part should be covered in emphasis of meta paragraph. Now, can you tell me what is the difference between CAM and emphasis of meta paragraph? What is the right thing? Is not sufficient. That is the reason we are giving qualified opinion, Raj. Otherwise, so we would have simply like expressed adverse opinion. Okay. So in this, we are having EOM and CAM. Now, what is the difference between EOM, other matter and CAM? We are having SA 706. So for this particular question, SA 706 was applicable, right? For emphasis of matter paragraph, we talk that matter which is presented or disclosed in the financial statement, and as per auditor, it is very important for the fundamental to users understanding. And it's in that question also, it was very important for students to know that, yes, the financial statements are prepared on, they are realizable value we are carrying, and the financial statements are prepared not following going concern concept, right? And CAM is those matters that in the auditor's professional judgment were of most significance in the audit of the financial statements of the current period. So CAM are selected from matters communicated with TCWG, those charged with governance. So important matters we generally covered in communication with TCWG as per SA 260 265, right? And CAM will arise from those matters. And the matters which are of most significance in the audit of financial statements, that will be covered in form of CAM. And what is other matter paragraph? Other matter paragraph, it means they are not they are not forming part of financial statements, but that is also very important. Like previous years financial statements were audited by some other auditor, that example, that part you can give in other matter paragraph. Okay, so if we talk of difference of key audit matter and other EOM, so key audit matter relationship, if we talk, key audit matter is also fundamental to users understanding, but we take most significance matter which are communicated to those charged with governance. EOM already disclosed in financial statements, we are highlighting. I am not able to, can you just elaborate, Krishna Kumar? If you can just elaborate on the same. You're right that CAM more significance in auditor's judgment, and EOM is for better understanding of financial statement, right, Cyril? You're also right, and is also both are, and for other matter, that is also clear, I think. And EOM already being discussed. So there may be a matter that is not determined to be a key audit matter in accordance with SA 70 means. It means all EOM not necessarily will be CAM. Okay. So now we are going for drafting of opinion. So first let's draft opinion for that emphasis of matter paragraph, which is asked in the examination in May 24, 1B. You are very right, Udit. CAM matters, para is required for listed company. It's specifically for listed company only. If you read the standard carefully, you will find that in objective and then effective date and their applicability, scope of that standard is also being defined in the standard. And in that scope, it is specifically mentioned that key audit matter para is required for listed company, because SA 701 is for listed company. Okay. So here we brought some actually drafting of opinion type questions, because generally it is being asked in the examination for 5 marks, and for 5 marks you need to draft the opinion para and basis for opinion para. And if you these 5 marks are for free actually. For basis for opinion, you just need to take the facts of the question and you need to give in the basis para. Okay. And opinion, you need to identify which opinion will be expressed in the same and how to draft that opinion, because generally in each and every examination 5 marks question is being asked where you need to draft the opinion. Okay. So XYZ Limited is a company engaged in today we have just bring some of the question from the study material only. These are not taken from any other source. These are from the study material only. And if you have covered all the examples, you will find some of the question from the study material itself only in the reporting part. Okay. So XYZ Limited is a company engaged in a manufacture of cranes. CA Sudhir is the statutory auditor of the company for the financial year. The company has taken long-term funding for fixed capital requirement and short-term funding for its working capital requirement. Now, during course of audit, CA Sudhir found that the company's financing arrangements are about to expire. Please note that they are about to expire. Okay. And company is unable to renegotiate or obtain the replacement financing. They are not able to renegotiate. They are not able to obtain the replacement financing. Okay. As such, the company may be, please focus, may be unable to realize its assets and discharge its liability in the normal course of business. Notes to accounts annexed to the financial statement discuss the magnitude of financial arrangement. Everything is discussed in the notes to accounts, expiration and the total financing arrangement. However, the financial statements do not include discussion onto impact or the availability of refinancing. So the financial statements and notes thereto do not fully disclose the fact what kind of opinion should CA Sudhir issue in case of XYZ Limited. Krishna Kumar. Yeah, you are right. And Ritik is saying, is there any marks for writing fact of the? Yeah, there is right. If you correlate the fact of the question with the provision and then conclude, definitely marks are specifically meant for that. But if you're just writing the question as it is and you expect that yes, we will be getting 1 marks, then no. Right? So we need to understand the requirement of the question and accordingly fact of the question should be correlated and concluded. Then only we'll get the marks for fact of the question. Otherwise, so anybody can do one thing. They will just read the question, they will write the same question in the paper, and they'll think in each question I'll be getting 1 mark at least for fact of the question. So that will not happen. Okay. So you need to mention the fact of the question and correlate with the situation and give the conclusion. Then you will get the mark specifically for fact of the question. Okay. Now, quickly, if you can tell me what kind of opinion will be expressed in this question, then we'll move towards drafting of opinion. So in this question, what has happened? Tanya madam, long-term funding for fixed capital requirement and short-term funding for
working capital requirement is there.
And financing arrangements are about to expire. It's not expired, it's about to expire. Okay.
And companies may be unable to realize,
Renegotiate
and
or obtain the replacement of financing. Now you tell me which opinion will be expressed. I'm waiting quickly. Those who are on Zoom, they can also write, and those who are virtually, they can also tell. Can you write? Are you able to identify which kind of opinion? We have already discussed there are modified opinion, unmodified. In modified, we are having 3. Modified में 3 है, qualified, adverse and yes. Ritik, you are right that in this question we will give qualified opinion. Okay. So in this question we are going to express qualified opinion because the material misstatement is there, but pervasiveness we need to see. So now if we talk about drafting of opinion, you can see that relevant extract, whenever this question will be asked in the examination, some portion will remain same for your answer. Okay. So remember these 3 paras, and in each and every question you can interlink and just conclude that which opinion will be expressed. If it is qualified, then we need to give the reference basis for qualified opinion, and the opinion para will be almost same. Okay. And if we are going to give adverse opinion, then also. So when we are giving qualified opinion, keep it in your mind that when opinion is expressed by an auditor, what he is going to write in our opinion and to best of our information. Because what kind of opinion we are expressing is based on the information which we are having and the explanation given to us. So what will be the first line? In our opinion and to the best of our information and according to the explanation given to us. In our opinion and best of our information. Whatever, to the best of our information and according to the explanation given to us. And when it is qualified, what we will write? Except for the. Except for the means that particular qualification will be covered in that except for the para. Okay. And what is except for the incomplete disclosure of the information, and where it is discussed? It is discussed in basis for qualified opinion para. So simply your para will remain same. Whatever situation is being given, you need to give same para for qualified opinion, that in our opinion and to the best of our information and according to the explanation given to us, except for the incomplete disclosure, because in that question incomplete disclosure was there. Okay. They have disclosed in the notes to accounts, but they have not disclosed in the financial statements. Okay. And where it is discussed in incomplete disclosure referred to in the basis for qualified opinion section of our report. The aforesaid standalone financial statements give the information required by the Act in the manner so required and give a true and fair view. It gives true and fair view in conformity with the accounting principle. Now we are talking about financial reporting framework. Okay. So in conformity with the accounting principle generally accepted in India. और कहाँ पे है ये सब? State of affairs as at March 31st, whatever year is there. And next statement, profit and loss account. Okay. For the year ended on that date. I think you all are clear that for financial statement, we generally talk of profit and loss account and balance sheet. And balance sheet is always on as at date or as on. And for trading and profit and loss account, we use for the year ended because it is for that particular time period. So for the year ended. So this thing we need to ensure that in our opinion para, we are giving that opinion, just in our opinion, so common, but to the best of our information and the explanation provided to us, okay, given to us. Or if it is qualified, then we will give except for the incomplete disclosure of whatever situation. Just one hint about that and where it is discussed. It is discussed in basis for qualified opinion section of our report. Whatever report we are giving, basis for qualified opinion section. If it is adverse opinion, you will give basis for adverse opinion section, right? Of which the aforesaid standalone financial statement gives the information required by the act. Now that is very important that these financial statements gives the required information. Okay. And so required and give a, or what kind of view they are giving. It's very important, true and fair view. So we'll cover true and fair view. And true and fair view, how you are ensuring in conformity with the accounting principle. Okay. Generally accepted in India, because for India, we will ensure that accounting standard Ind AS or whatever accounting principles are being adhered with. And for what? Of the state of affairs of that company's name as on, as at, and for profit and loss for the year ended on that date. So whenever you get any question for qualified opinion, you need to give this para. And now what will come in basis for qualified opinion? I will cover all four, Krishna Kumar. Qualified, adverse, disclaimer, and emphasis, so that your 5 marks are fixed in the examination, because this is very simple para and no need of interlinking. Just you need to identify and you need to give this para, and almost all are interrelated only. Now in basis for qualified opinion, it's same which is taken from the fact of the case if you read carefully.
As discussed in note number 6, the company's financing arrangements are about to expire and the company has been unable to conclude renegotiations or obtain replacement financing. This situation indicates that a material uncertainty exists that may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern. The financial statements do not adequately disclose this matter.
Right? So in qualified opinion, we have given reference of basis for qualified opinion section of our report. And in basis for qualified opinion, you can simply locate that whatever is being given, it's given, taken from the question only. That what happened in the question, we are giving reference of note that financing arrangements are about to expire. Company is unable to do this. Okay. And there is a doubt and the financial statement do not disclose adequately.
Right.
Okay. So I hope you all are with me and clear on the qualified opinion. Can I move to next one? It's clear? Thank you, Krishna Kumar. Yeah. So next is, it is also similar kind of question. Now you need to identify what kind of opinion will be expressed in it. Okay. So can you just read the question?
ABC Limited is a company engaged in the manufacture of iron and steel bars. PP and Associates are the statutory auditor of ABC Limited for the financial year 22-23. During the course of audit, C.A. Prakash, the engagement partner, found that the company's financing arrangements have expired.
Now you just check the word have expired. It's already expired. Okay.
And the amount outstanding was payable on March 31st, 2023. the company has been unable to renegotiate or obtain replacement financing and is considering filing for bankruptcy.
Now you see that in that case, they were trying and financial arrangements were not expired. Okay, in this situation, financing arrangements are already expired and they are not able to renegotiate and they are not able to get the replacement financing, and now they are considering filing for bankruptcy. Okay.
These events indicate a material uncertainty that may cast significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as a going concern, and therefore it may be able to realize its assets and discharge its liability in the normal course of business. ठीक है, कंपनी इसमें सिग्निफिकेंट डाउट है इसमें कंपनीज एबिलिटी टू कंटिन्यू एज अ गोइंग कंसर्न. सो the financial statements and notes thereto do not disclose this fact.
Now you see this kind of situation where we are going for filing for bankruptcy and we are not disclosing this fact. Now you tell me what kind of opinion will be expressed. Yeah, Raj, you are right, but I'm waiting for some more answer. Yeah, Ritik is also very right. So you all are able to identify and your 5 marks are pakka. Hai na? Right. So any other? So you all are right that this will be adverse opinion because it is material and pervasive. Yeah, Cyril, you are also right. So it is material and pervasive. Now, how we are going to draft the opinion? Now you just see, same, in our opinion, because of the omission of the information mentioned in the basis for adverse opinion. Now, last para will almost same, but in our opinion, what is happening? Omission of the information because complete fact is not being disclosed. Okay. Where we are talking about in the basis for adverse opinion section of our report, where in the qualified we were writing in the basis for qualified opinion section of our report. The accompanying financial statement do not present fairly the financial position of the entity. Here in this question, financial statements are not presenting fair view. So true and fair view when we talk in this, because it is material as well as pervasive. That is the reason we are expressing adverse opinion. So we cannot say that this is showing true and fair view. Here what is happening, that as already mentioned in the basis for adverse opinion section of our report, the accompanying financial statements do not present fairly the financial position of the entity as on whatever is the date and of its financial performance and cash flow for the year then ended in accordance with the accounting standard issued by the ICAI. Now you can just remember this language for adverse opinion, that adverse opinion will be expressed when the financial statements are not expressing true and fair view. Fair view is not there. That is the reason we are expressing adverse opinion. So we need to mention that in our opinion, because of omission of the information of reference, आपका आ जाएगा basis for adverse opinion section in our report. The financial statement do not present fairly or fair view the financial position of the entity. Entity's name will be appear and date will be appear, and of financial performance and its cash flow for the year, because their going concern is impacting. Okay, and the financial statements are not showcasing anything. Okay, so we need to mention that performance and cash flow for the year in accordance with accounting standard issued by the ICAI. So this is not presenting fairly. And now what is covered in basis for adverse opinion? If we read it, it is just taken from the questions fact only, that the financing arrangement of ABC Limited or whatever company's name has expired and the amount was payable on this. The entity has been unable to conclude, renegotiate or obtain replacement financing. Everything is given in the fact of the case only. And here we are concluding that this situation indicate that material uncertainty exists that may cause significant doubt on the company's ability to continue as going concern. So the financial statements do not adequately disclose this fact. If you see, this line was also mentioned over here, that company's ability to continue as going concern and it may be unable to realize its asset and discharge the liability. Financial statement do not disclose this fact. So otherwise everything is taken from the fact of the question only. So this way we can prepare it. I hope it is clear to all of you. Can I move to next one? Yeah. So in this question, MNO Limited is a power generating company having its plant in the northeastern state of the country for the financial year. Messrs. PRT and Associate are the statutory auditor of the company. During the course of audit, the audit team was unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So when we were discussing about modified opinion, we told you two things to be taken care. One is sufficient appropriate audit evidence are obtained or not obtained. So in this question, you can see it is mentioned clearly that they were unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about a single element of the consolidated financial statement. Okay, that is the auditor was also unable to obtain audit evidence about the financial information of a joint venture investment. So, joint venture investment in XYZ Limited, we are not able to get the evidence about the single element. But the main important thing is it represents over 90% of the entity's net assets. More than over 90% of entities net asset. Now you need to tell what kind of opinion should the statutory auditor issue in such case. Yeah. Right, Ritik? Because he is unable to obtain sufficient appropriate and audit evidence and this is pervasive. More than 90%. No, Salish. Just read the words which I have underlined that audit team was unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. If you remember, we have discussed for modified opinion, it is of three types, right? Qualified, adverse, and disclaimer of opinion. Okay. So you just see for expressing any, we need to consider two facts. One is sufficient appropriate audit evidence obtained or not. So we were not able to obtain. Okay. And then also, if obtained, then we will check material and pervasiveness. Okay. In this case, we are not able to obtain. And that is also pervasive because if you see 90% of the entities net assets are represented. Okay. So that is the reason we will express disclaimer of opinion because auditor express his opinion on the basis of audit evidence. If you are not having any audit evidence, you cannot give judgment. And for that part, which is impacting more than 90% of the net asset. So we need to check how much it is impacting and whether we are having that sufficient appropriate audit evidence or not. So in this question, it is very much clearly given. Yeah, now Salesh, you are right. Mansha is also right. Raj is also right. And Udit is also right. Okay. And Ritik is also right. So in this question also, it is given that sufficient appropriate audit evidence are not obtained and it is covering more than 90% of net assets, right? So we will be expressing disclaimer of opinion. Cyril, you are clear about it? I hope, Cyril, your doubt is clear now. It is not adverse opinion because you cannot give adverse opinion when you are not having any sufficient appropriate audit evidence. First, you need to check whether you have obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence or not. If you are able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, then only you can express an opinion. And for that too also, we need to check whether it is material or pervasive. If material and pervasive both are there, then you need to give adverse opinion. If it is only material but not pervasive, then definitely you will be giving qualified opinion. But if you are not having sufficient or appropriate audit evidence and pervasiveness is also there,
Then we will disclaim an opinion.
So here we are going to give disclaimer of opinion. Okay. Thank you, Cyril. So now we are going for drafting of opinion. So what you are going to do in that case, in qualified or adverse opinion, you were expressing an opinion. Okay. In qualified opinion, you were telling that in our opinion, in qualified, so you've simply said that in our opinion and to best of our information and according to the explanation provided. Okay. And except for that part. In adverse opinion, what you are writing? In our opinion, because of omission of the information. And here important word is, it's not presenting fair view. And if we talk of disclaimer of opinion, you can see because we are not having sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So we cannot conclude. So what we are going to write? We do not express an opinion. We do not express an opinion. किस पे? On the accompanying financial statements of that entity. Okay. So what is an accompanying financial statement? Profit and loss account and state of affairs. Why we are not expressing? Because of the significance of the matter described in the, where we are describing basis for disclaimer of opinion section of our report, right? Basis for qualified opinion section of our report, basis for adverse opinion section of our report. If it is disclaimer of opinion, basis for disclaimer of opinion section of our report. So that part will be covered over there. We have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Here we have already clearly indicated that we have not been able to obtain. SAAE, very important term. Sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Why it is required? For providing a basis for an audit opinion on these financial statement. So if you see carefully, we have mentioned that we are not expressing any opinion. We do not express an opinion on the accompanying financial statement. Why we are not giving? Because of significance of the matter. That matter is significant and it is described in disclaimer of opinion section of our report. And we are not able to obtain, because for disclaimer, so specifically we are clear that we are not able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So what we are going to write? Because we have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for an audit opinion, because without evidence you cannot express. So we have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to provide a basis for an audit opinion on these financial statements. And again, when we are talking about basis for disclaimer of opinion, same things which are covered in fact of the case. Madam, please cover.
The group's investment in its joint venture XYZ company is carried at rupees 95 crores on the group's consolidated balance sheet, which represents over 90%. So it covers major portion of the net assets. So we were not allowed access to the management and the auditors of the XYZ company, including XYZ company's auditors audit documentation. So the auditor of the company was not allowed to access audit documentations, and management was not able, they were not able to contact management also. So as a result, we were unable to determine whether any adjustments were necessary in respect of the group's proportional share of XYZ company's assets that it's controlled jointly, its proportional share of XYZ company's liability for which it is jointly responsible, its proportional share of XYZ company's income and expenses for the year, and the elements making up the consolidated statement of changes in equity and the consolidated cash flow statement.
So what new we have brought, and ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हमने अपने mind से we have collected some information and placed in the basis for disclaimer of opinion. So in the examination also, if you are not able to like, it's very important, because if the drafting of opinion part is there, 1 mark may be for the opinion para, which opinion you will be expressing, 2 marks may be for opinion, and 2 marks for basis for opinion. So for basis for opinion para, whether it is qualified, adverse or disclaimer of opinion, Don't you feel that's very, very easy because it's taken from fact of the case only? Nothing new. We have not given any additional or other important information. We have just fetched the details. We have just collected the data from the question itself and we have tried to cover in the basis for disclaimer of opinion. So don't you feel you can get free marks, right? So in the examination this time, I hope you will be able to draft the opinion para. If you have any doubt, you can definitely write me. Okay. So this is everything is given in the question only. Okay. Yeah. Madam has brought one more question now. Tanya madam has collected lot many questions for you. That this must get very good marks. But of course, if you have any doubt, you can definitely write in between. ऐसा नहीं हो कि we are just covering audit opinion and drafting of opinion. In case if you have any specific doubt, you can definitely. And after this, I think we need to go back to 1B also. For that emphasis of meta paragraph
Right.
also, we need to tell them that how it will be. Okay. Yeah.
In respect of the audit of BDS Limited, the statutory auditor of the company noticed some matters. The statutory auditor wants to draw the user's attention towards such matters, though his opinion is not modified in respect of such matters. So here it is important to notice that auditor wants to draw attention on such matters where his opinion is not modified. On
So
the
it
basis
means
of that,
what? Now here auditor is drawing
Drawing
attention.
attention.
Okay.
Right.
So what kind of opinion you can directly just reading this, you can just identify that here he want to draw the user's attention. Okay. Now next. Yeah.
draft the relevant paragraphs of the audit report for
And
the
one more
following
important thing, madam,
हाँ.
आपने बताइए.
Opinion
Opinion
is
is not modified. So
Right.
it is not modified. Now 705 is over. We are moving towards SA 706.
Six.
What is 6? Emphasis of meta paragraph and other meta paragraph. Okay. So now I think we have touched upon SA 705. So in this, opinion is not modified and we are just what we are doing? Drawing the user's attention. Okay.
The company has a plan to resume its construction activities with respect to one of its thermal power project.
Okay.
The activity of such power plant was suspended in the financial year 2021. The thermal power project comprises of the plant and equipment amounting to rupees 5.95 crore and working capital in progress of rupees 147.50 crore.
So who are the user of the financial statements? Who are the users of the financial statements? Yeah, you are right, Krishna Kumar. Who are the user of the financial statement? Shareholder, creditor, hai na? Investors.
investors.
Okay, so they all are user. And here what we want to draw users attention. So it's very important if there is company is having some important plan or if company is indulged in some activity which is very important that users are aware of. So that part should be expressed in. You have rightly mentioned, Krishna Kumar, that in this question we are going to express. Others can also write in the same way. Yeah, Mansha, you are right, stakeholders. So you can tell me what kind of opinion will be expressed in this. After reading the first part only. In fact, in first para also we were aware that what kind of opinion. Yeah, right, Ritik, you are with us. In the second part, madam.
The financial statements of 5 branches are included in the standalone financial statements of BDS Limited, whose financial statements reflect total assets of rupees 90 crore as at 31st March 2023 and total revenue from operations of rupees 40 crore for the year ended on that date. The financial statements of these branches have been audited by the branch auditors. So there is no discrepancy.
Okay. So
Yeah.
now what kind of opinion? Ritik is right, then Krishna Kumar is right, but others, are you not able to get through what kind of opinion we are going to express? Can you tell me? Yes, it is emphasis of meta paragraph. Now, emphasis of meta paragraph, we are not modifying our opinion. What we are going to do, we just draw attention of the students to the following note of standalone financial statements. Okay. So in emphasis of matter paragraph, we draw attention to the following note of the standalone financial statements. That note 27 regarding the plan of the company to resume construction, development. So whatever activity is being given, and very important line, our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. It's very important line that our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. So first thing, emphasis of matter, we draw attention and we give reference of that particular note. Okay. And second thing is we will definitely write that our opinion is not modified. Okay. And in other matter, we did not audit the financial statement of 5 branches. I already told you, na, previous year somebody else has audited. So in other matter, we are going to cover that we did not audit the financial statement of 5 branches included in the standalone financial statements of the company, whose financial statement reflect total asset of, that is also taken from the fact of the case only, that this is the amount and everything over given here is. And then we will write that the financial statement of these branches have been audited by the branch auditor, okay, who has audited, whose reports have been furnished to us, and our opinion in so far as it relate to the amount and disclosures related included in respect of these branch, and we have relied just on that, is based solely on the report of the branch auditor. Again, very important line, that our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. So this is EOM and other matter. And yeah, now we are moving towards that 1B. I hope it is clear to all of you. We have tried to cover qualified, adverse, disclaimer of opinion, emphasis of matter, and other matter paragraph. Okay. So now in 1B, okay. In 1B, what was there in that question? Fancy Limited and Nancy Limited. Okay. Fancy Limited was foreign company providing software support services. Ma'am discussed in much detail. And they are having branch office at Delhi. Okay. And they have incorporated a subsidiary, Nancy Private Limited in Gurgaon. Okay. Entered into a business transfer agreement, or where they have discussed that all losses will also be borne by Fancy Limited and everything will be taken care. But when Delhi branch prepared its financial statements, what they have done, they prepared their financial statement as if they are not going to continue as a going concern, and all its assets are carried in the books at the values likely to be recovered, means realizable value, at the time of closure of operation to the extent ascertainable. And what they have done, they have covered also Delhi branches incorporate above matter in detailed form in note to the financial statements. Okay. You are statutory auditor of Delhi branch of Fancy Limited. Now you are auditor. Okay. And Delhi branch is correctly disclosed. Everything is correctly disclosed also. Okay. And you need to express the opinion. Now, what kind of opinion paragraph you will prepare? And one more thing, you have obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence concerning audit on the verge of finalization of audit report. No, Ritik, it will not be adverse opinion. Here we are going to express emphasis of matter paragraph. We are not modifying the opinion, because the financial statements, on the basis they have prepared, that it will not be going concern. They have expressed very clearly, and the financial statements are also prepared according to that. They have disclosed in the notes also. So we will be giving emphasis of matter paragraph. And now I think you are also aware that what are the content. If you read the answer, it's very simple and you can simply get the 5 marks for this. Like, you need to give drafting of opinion paragraph. If we talk of opinion paragraph is just simple, same independent auditors report. What kind of, to whom we give independent auditors report? To the members of Delhi branch. And now what is the coverage in the report? Opinion will be same, because we need to give opinion para, not emphasis of matter paragraph. That will be covered later on. In opinion, after that, we'll be giving basis for opinion, and in that, thereafter, we'll be giving emphasis of matter paragraph. Emphasis of matter is not opinion. Okay, so in opinion paragraph, generally what is our language? That we have audited the standalone financial statements of Delhi branch office of Fancy Limited, which comprise the balance sheet and statement of P&L, and again you need to give statement of cash flow. So here in opinion we have mentioned that we have audited the standalone financial statement of XYZ ABC, whatever is the name. Okay, and what is it comprising? Standalone financial statement means balance sheet, statement of P&L, or SOCI, statement of change in equity, and statement of cash flow. So these are the financial statements, and apart from this, we are having notes to the financial statements. Okay, including a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. So these part we generally give in the opinion paragraph. And then what we are writing, same, which we have discussed. In our opinion, and to the best of our information, and according to the explanation given to us, financial statements give a true and fair view in the conformity. In that qualified, we just gave reference of qualification. It will not be adverse opinion, because financial statements are prepared on the going concern basis, and that is disclosed in the financial statements in the notes also. So financial statements are also prepared on the basis of same, and notes to accounts appropriate disclosure is also being made. So it will not be adverse opinion. It will be emphasis of meta paragraph. So when we are giving emphasis of meta paragraph, please ensure that paragraph of opinion will be same, which is generally issued for unmodified. In our opinion, and to the best of our information, and according to the explanation given to us, financial statements give a true and fair view in conformity with the accounting principles generally accepted in India of the state of affairs and P&L and its cash flow. So this is set language, which is generally given in opinion paragraph. For basis for opinion also, it is set language, because we are not giving qualified or adverse opinion. So in basis for opinion, simply we conducted our audit in accordance with essays. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statement section of our report, because it is unmodified, it is normal, and emphasis of meta paragraph is given. We are not giving any qualified opinion, or we are not giving any adverse opinion. So this will be the set language. We are independent auditor of the company. We are independent of the company in accordance with the ethical requirement that are relevant to our audit of the financial statement as per ICAI's Code of Ethics and the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. It means on independence also, we are complying with Companies Act requirement as well as Code of Ethics requirement, and we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with these requirements. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. So if there is no qualification requirement, there is no adverse situation is there, then you will just give basis for opinion, which will be simply that we have conducted our audit in accordance with essay. Our responsibilities discussed in the section, auditor's responsibility for audit of financial statement section of our report. We are independent in accordance with Code of Ethics or in accordance with Companies Act. And then we have fulfilled our ethical requirements in accordance with these requirements. And we believe that whatever audit evidence have been obtained is sufficient and appropriate. Now, when we are moving towards emphasis of meta paragraph, because in that we need to give emphasis of meta paragraph, then we need to draw attention to that note, and we need to give just simply a brief about that regarding Delhi branch office management intention to close the operation of the branch office subject to regulatory approval. According, the financial statements have been prepared on the basis that Delhi branch office does not continue to be a going concern, and provision have been made in the books of accounts for the losses arising or likely to arise on account of closure of operations, including the loss on the realizability of the current asset. Important line, our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. Ritik, it is clear to you that it will not be adverse opinion? Whoever was telling adverse opinion, are you all clear that it will not be adverse opinion? Because for adverse opinion, material misstatement should be there, and that should also be pervasive. But if we read the question carefully, nowhere material misstatement thing is there. They have their intention, they have prepared their financial statements according to that only, and they have disclosed also this part. So when if the question is only draft the emphasis of meta paragraph or other meta paragraph, if it is not drafting of opinion paragraph, then you will simply draft the meta paragraph. But if the question is talking of suitable opinion paragraph and that situation is of emphasis of meta paragraph, then definitely you need to give brief para about opinion, thereafter basis for opinion, and then emphasis of meta paragraph. And do not forget to write in emphasis of matter that our opinion is not modified. In other matter also you need to write that, and in that also. And for emphasis, other matter, or basis for qualified, basis for disclaimer, basis for adverse, you need to get the details from the fact of the question only, right? So this way you can draft the opinion, and it is 5 marks question. And if you remember some set language, if you do writing practice in next, I think next session will be in October, right? So in the meantime also, if you are doing practice and if you find any difficulty, you can send to us through Ask Your Query feature, or you can simply call on 01203045 or you can write on auditing-final@ICAI.in, right? So writing practice is very important. So please try to solve all the examples given in the study material chapter, because in examination this was also taken from the study material itself. And even if we consider previous examination question paper also, questions were taken from the examples of the study material only. Yeah. Raj, whether it is necessary to quote penalty of income tax. If the question is talking in November 23, if you remember, liabilities of auditor chapter was specifically discussing about the penalty part. And in that penalty was given. So in November 23, old scheme was there. 24 have, okay. So if it is covered in the study, then only you can, otherwise no need of writing the penalty amount. Okay, and if this question is specifically asking, yeah. Mansha, unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, pervasive. Withdrawal if practical and possible under applicable law, if not, disclaimer of opinion. Mansha, I'm not very clear about your query. I think you want to discuss about, yeah. I'm not very clear, Mansha. You can just simply elaborate because I'm not able to get through. You want to talk about withdrawal. If you are not able to practically continue with the audit part, if there is limitation of scope, then you will withdraw. And for withdrawal also, you need to follow certain rules also, procedures also. Okay, so first you just see if there is management imposed limitation or what kind of problem actually we are facing. On the basis of that, we can decide that withdrawal. Okay. And disclaimer of opinion is when you are not able to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence, and that is important. Yes, you're right. So Raj is saying in one more question, there in MTP series 1 May 24, liability definition as per Ind AS. Do we need to mention that as well? Which question you are talking? Yeah, you can call Ritik and you can ask, or even you can use ask your query feature also. Yeah. Question 1B. This one. March 24 or which one? Just a second. 1B. Yeah. While conducting audit of CGX Limited, a listed company for the year, CA Srishti noticed that company has extinguished following material liability unilaterally without entering into settlement with creditor and reporting these amount as gain under other income. And liability is given for purchase of raw material. And one is liability for capital goods were written back on account of defect in machinery. Okay. Then the management is of the opinion that these dues are no longer payable. Therefore, retaining these liability on the financial statement would lead to overstatement of liabilities. Extinguishment of liabilities were made by the company in accordance with normal trade practice and outstanding were returned back after stopping dealing with such creditor. She wanted to send external confirmation request to such creditor. However, management informed that sending such request may be used by creditor as proof of existence of liability. She is contemplating including of above matter under key audit matter in audit report. Okay, you want to discuss? Only one thing was left out. I think you want to discuss on key audit matter also, huh?
He's asking why we have given definition of liability. Is it mentioned for them to give them definition of liability in the answers?
Definition of liability, just to tell that yes, it
What
is
is
liability.
liability?
That is the reason we gave it. That otherwise, how you will be you will be able to identify that it is liability. Okay. So in the situation, entity has the obligation to transfer an economic. So is there any doubt in this? Do you have any doubt in it?
Just he's asking that do we need to mention liability?
Just to tell what is the liability. If in two line you can write that it is liability and just giving the reference of that definition. No need to that it is not specifically that you need to give the reference of Ind AS or I don't think we have also given the reference of Ind AS. We have not given reference of any Ind AS in this question. We have just simply told that what is the liability. Okay. So that is the reason. Just we have briefed about the liability, 2-3 lines, and then we have move towards a situation that in this question, because it is specifically meant for liability purpose. So that is the reason just in 2-3 lines we gave the, because whatever is being asked in the question, if it is pertaining to that definition, then of course linkage of 2-3 lines is sufficient. But no need, I am not telling to give the reference of Ind AS 37. Just you can just simply write na framework for financial reporting under Ind AS. If you are able to write, then it is very good. Yeah. Yeah. Clear. I hope it is clear. Raj and Ritik. Krishna Kumar. Fancy Limited. Question: why we not considered going concern para? What kind of going concern para you want to give? When the financial statements are already being prepared following the going concern is not going to be complied with. We are not going to continue with going concern. Our financial statements are also prepared on realizable value, what we are going to realize. Okay. And we have disclosed also. Then what you are going to cover in going concern para? Why you want to cover that going means there is no need of giving going concern para, na? Why there is the requirement of essay 570? When the question is specifically asking you about drafting of opinion, basis for opinion and relevant note. Note they have asked. So then you have given opinion, basis for opinion and note. All three things we have given. Okay. Where you are going to cover essay 570 wala part? Where you want to cover in opinion part, you want to cover in basis for opinion. When it's not impacting, we are just giving EOM for the fundamental users attention that they should be aware that these financial statements are prepared on the basis of that we are not following going concern basis. And our financial statements are prepared on realizable value. And this part is also disclosed. Then we need not to give the essay 570 relevant part. Okay. The question, please understand what is the requirement of the question. Then only you will be able to give the required answer. So you need to understand, because specifically if it, specifically read what is the requirement, that requirement part, just read carefully. Draft a suitable opinion paragraph and basis thereof. So you need to give opinion para. Rather, EOM is not opinion para, but then also you need to give opinion paragraph because it is the requirement of the question. So you need to give opinion paragraph, basis thereof, and along with disclosure of note with suitable place. That is the reason suitable place we have shown it in the, we have shown it that how we are going to cover suitable place. The suitable place we have shown that it is independent auditors report to whom we are giving, how it is starting. At final level, I am sure that you all have seen the annual reports or you have seen the audit report. So you might have seen that how it start. It start with heading title, independent auditors report, then to whom we are issuing, then a report on audit of standalone financial statement, then it will start with opinion para, basis for opinion para, where we are going to cover that going concern part. Clear? So going concern part will not be covered in this because the question is specifically asking you show in the auditor's report format and para opinion, basis for opinion, and that note, specific emphasis of matter note. Okay, so you need to give that only. Can we expect Saransh for professional ethics, and also in Saransh some topics of essays are missing? Ritik, for Saransh, if you see professional ethics, we have tried to cover in capsule in the last year, last year October 23, and to the reference also. So you can refer both. Okay, but yeah, for final level comprehensive Saransh also we are working on the same. So each and every chapter will be covered. Okay, and which standards you are telling? Some topics of essays are missing. Please write specifically to me. Write specifically to us or intimate which standards you are specifically talking, because in Saransh we have covered all the standards and these are just for revision notes. And what we expect from you, that when you are studying, you prepare your own flowcharts, you prepare your own notes, so that when 2 days gap is there for you to revise, you can simply, and when you are writing now, your retention power will be increased. You will be in examination, you will be able to write the required portion. Even when I was teaching to my son, I know, and I explained the concept. He said, "Mama, pura aa gaya. I'm able to understand. I'll manage." And when I gave him the question, "Beta, just show me how you are writing," he was finding difficulty. So same thing is happening. Today you have understood, but when you are going to do writing practice, if you are after today's session, when you'll be writing 2 or 3 opinion, you will definitely find ki yes, we are missing somewhere. So if you have done writing practice for twice and thrice, your retention will be more and you'll be able to write accurate and correct answer in the exam also. Otherwise, what will happen after attempting? You will think that yes, we have covered everything, bahut acha gaya, and we are not getting marks because you will not be able to understand what you have missed out. So if you have done writing practice, it's very important. So today I will, it's my homework to all of you that for reporting chapter, it's 100% max, minimum 5 marks will be there. So please draft opinion and do practice of opinion paragraph. And for essay also, if you can prepare your own notes and flowcharts, it will be retained and you will be able to identify what is the requirement and you are able to give the required answer. Okay. Any other query? So I think we have tried to cover and what you want in next section, that also feedback will help us to cover in the series 2. So we will be there and with we'll prepare the notes according to that. Yeah. And next, yeah, you're right, Mansha. Professional ethics, October 22 and 23. So in these 2 capsules, we have covered professional ethics, and in next month session also, you are going to get a new chapter, that is ESG. So very shortly it will be uploaded on website also, and you'll be getting that capsule. So we have tried to cover, and whatever your feedback is there, please provide your feedback so that we can move in correct direction. So last but not least, yeah, Krishna Kumar, if we include GC para, then only users understanding how there is some issue with going concern and EOM para. I'm clear about ignoring GC para, not appropriate. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Krishna Kumar. Our intention was that we make you understand that how to draft the opinion para, because it's for 5 marks, and when we interact with the students, these marks are missed generally. So specifically, our intention to cover that topic was, matlab, that is the reason Tanya also tried to cover all the examples of the study material in the PPT so that we can have all drafting part. Okay. And for next series, if you can provide the feedback that how, what actually you want and in which topic you are finding specifically difficulty so that we can prepare for that in October, I think maybe 15th or 16th October. So last but not least, practice relaxation technique like deep breathing, meditation, or if you feel uh, after playing the game you feel relaxed, but don't waste your time in mobile using this reels, watching reels and all those, because it impact your memory also, and it takes so much of time is wasted actually.
Right.
So please do deep breathing practice, and when in the examination also, if you find difficult question, don't get panic. Just take a deep breath and start what you know best. Start with the question which you are best, okay, and don't write irrelevant answers. And then make sure that you are eating healthy food at the examination time, because we attract for junk food now,
Yes.
pizza, burger, chow mein, then
They
this
only
chili
increase stress.
potato and all those, because it impact ultimately our digestive system as well as mental. Okay, though we feel ki yes, our brain is activated, but it's very temporary. So try to have some fruits, salad, and healthy diet, okay, when you are studying. Then
You can do regular exercise, or you can go on a short walk, so you can have fresh air, and definitely you can have a positive self talk and visualization. Actually, when I was a student, I used to visualize that on the day of my result, how I would react, how I would tell my parents what would be their reaction. So these visualization techniques really help you in your exams and to keep you yourself motivated. So take care, have a good sleep, take care, have a good diet, and all the very best for your
practice
future.
from now only so that you are not panic when you are appearing for the exam.
Right.
And don't get panic. If you feel any difficulty, you can get back to us. You can call on 0120 3045 925. And how to study theory like audit. First, I feel very bad when you all tell that it is a theoretical subject, because you all are partial with this subject. First of all, you need to understand now this is the core of our profession and you are going to be future chartered accountant. So please don't say it is theory.
It is coming from a CA final student is really very disappointing.
So please make it practical and interesting now, that if you are chartered accountant, how you are going to cover these things, how you are going to follow the auditing standards, because you are future chartered accountant, okay, and these theory also you need to implement as practically, okay. So okay, of course we need to learn more, but for theoretical nahi, practical also we need to learn. We need to emphasize on the important concepts. We need to have writing practice, because practical question we keep on writing. That is the reason it's retained in our brain that yes, these steps are there. In audit also steps are there you need to follow. And if you are preparing now properly and you are preparing your own notes, you are marking important question at one place, then you will be able to revise. And in 1 or 2 days duration, you will definitely, because this bigger book also you can make shorter. You can cut whatever is important, you can highlight, you can mention in the notebook that yes, before paper I need to cover these questions. So in 2 days duration also you'll be able to complete in systematic manner. So for that you need to work now onwards. You need to regularly prepare your notes, or you need to note down that when I have to go for exam, these are the points I have to revise, I have to cover. Okay, and writing practice is very, very, very important. I already told you, because if you are doing writing practice, then only you can effectively visualize where you are lacking and where you need to improve. I hope we try to cover each and everything. You want to add on?
I just want to add on that during your preparation, you are not required to study one subject per day. You should, divide your time for all the subjects, so that there is mixing of subject, mixing of concept, and you are able to
Revising
revise
also,
right?
yeah, revision is also
Yes.
very important, because once you have done, thereafter you are not revising, or you are revising after 15 days, or
Right.
again you need to pressure your brain that for recalling the provisions and requirements. So please revise on continuous ongoing basis, okay? And we are there to help you, guide you, assist you in next session also. If you have anything specific you feel that it should be covered, we'll come back with that, so that that session can be fruitful for you and you can pass the CA exam with flying colors. But please don't think it is a theoretical subject. You can make it more practical. Since childhood you are doing audit, and today also when you get your answer sheet or you're not getting sufficient proper marks, then also you do audit of your answer sheet with suggested answer, that what we kind of mistakes we have done, why we are not able to get the marks. So those things are just audit only, which you are doing in day-to-day routine. So don't think it is theoretical. If you apply it, it will be practical. And with this, wish you all the very best. Your feedback is very important. Please share your feedback for the session. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much. All the best.